Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Give a Damn podcast. My name is Alana Weinroth. It's so good to be here with you all today. If you're watching this video, I'm in a new location today, which is very exciting. I'm at my parents' house. So you have the great privilege of seeing my feet and handprints on the wall, which is, really, really an exciting time. I had to switch up my environment right now, as I'm sure a lot of you have as well. And I want to lead off by just sending a lot of love to each and every one of you. I hope everybody's doing okay during this time, that you're having a good week. Hopefully you're listening to this on a Sunday and you're out for a nice walk or walking your dog or cleaning your house or just doing some type of self-care that you need and deserve right now. If you didn't see on the Instagram page, we released some baseball caps, which is so exciting. I'm actually wearing one also right now if you're watching the video. So I updated the Give a Damn podcast Instagram page, which will link right to the website where you can get your baseball caps, you can listen to the podcast, you can watch these videos. So lots of new things coming. Keep your eyes peeled, all to just better our community and send love. I also want to acknowledge the grace that I was shown last week. I did not put out an episode. Instead, I took this road trip to the Bay Area. And I want to encourage that for you all as well. If you need some space and you need a break, we don't need to be so hard on ourselves right now. So ask for it, and the people who love you will support you. Okay, I'm done talking because I'm really, really excited about this interview. This has been a long relationship in the making, and this topic is something that I'm really very newly learning about. And the person I'm interviewing is the first person that actually ever got me thinking about it. So I'm just going to launch into introducing Melissa Ellingson, and I'll let her tell you all about it. So on the podcast today, we have Melissa Ellingson. Melissa began her career in New York, diving straight into the fashion world at Albright Fashion Library. A native of Seattle rain, the sunshine brought her to LA, where she pivoted into the event world, leading a team at the industry greats Soho House West Hollywood and currently at Catch LA, where some of the most influential events to date have taken place. In her free time, she passionately champions wellness on a cellular level, going upstream to find root cause, plus shares easy shifts we can all do that make a difference. She is also passionate about community wellness through charity work. Her down-to-earth approach inspires others to ask more questions and dig past the status quo. When she's not working, she's likely making us drool on Instagram, 100%, making some healthy, indulgent concoctions, and planning a social distance hike or picnic. She will find any reason to celebrate and bring people together. Welcome to the Give a Damn podcast, Melissa.
Thank you so much. What an intro.
I know. I get very excited about my guests.
Since I assume you're editing this, I know where my headphones are. Would you like me to go grab them?
Go grab your headphones.
Going to my car. BRB. You can time me.
Okay. I'm timing you. We're recording, so. What Melissa doesn't know is that the video doesn't always get edited, but you know what? That's the fun part of when people actually watch the videos. If you're still watching, clap your hands. Am I going to cut this out? Maybe I won't. This will be a fun blooper for my video, folks. Maybe I will. We'll see. We'll see what I have time for. This is my dog, Leah, who passed away, family dog. This is me, my mom, and my sister. My sister's feet, my sister's hands, my hands. A lot of wine. Mhm. Oh, here we go. You're still muted. Let's see. You're on mute. So take it off mute. Let's test it out.
I have to sync them real quick, not my computer. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, that's right. No,
How 2020 is this that they won't sync?
I know. That's so weird. I don't even know how to resync, actually. It should just pick up on them on the Bluetooth, no? If the case is open and the earplugs are in there. Are we in business?
Can you hear me? We're good?
Yeah, we're good. It sounds so good. Okay.
How
Honestly,
amazing.
this is perfect place. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go, welcome to the Give It In podcast, Melissa, again, and let's just pick up from there.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. Welcome to the Give a Damn podcast, Melissa.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that intro.
Oh, you're welcome. I get very excited about my guests because I only have people on that I know and love selfishly that I want to share with the world. So really excited to have you on today for you to share all of your knowledge. And a little piece of info that people don't know is that Melissa and I actually met, like many of my guests, through Covenant House because she came in and was volunteering. And then I basically, we just decided to become friends as well. So I always think that's special.
So great.
So Melissa, let's just start. Give us a little bit of context. Who are you? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, where you're from, non-bio info.
All right. Yeah. So as you said, I'm born and raised in Seattle. I moved to New York right out of college. I played sports growing up my whole life. I played collegiate soccer at Seattle Pacific University. And right when I graduated, I moved to New York, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for the city and everything it has to offer. I went right into the fashion world and had this super dreamy job out the gate at Albright Fashion Library. Spent 3 years in New York and found myself visiting LA quite a bit and the sunshine here. And here I am. Upbringing,
Amazing.
I mean, yeah, I'm the baby of 4. I have 2 older brothers and an older sister. My entire family is still in Seattle, so it makes it super easy for me to go visit everyone. My nieces and nephews that you see all the time in my social, which are my world. Really close with my entire family. We're all very different, as I think most families are. There's that kind of common thread that ties us all together. In my family, it is, we're a bit outspoken and competitive and determined. All of us are. So yeah.
I love that. I know I always see your family, your nieces and nephews are so cute. Um, so, okay, so you mentioned in your bio, and obviously I know about you that you worked at Soho House before Catch, and now you work for Catch LA, and you do all of their events. You're working with high profile people all the time, and you're just like in this very fast paced environment. What got you into that, and then what got you interested in sort of this like side, would you call it like a passion project of and maybe explain a little bit about like you became very aware of toxins and chemicals around you, so would you call that sort of like your side passion, and then events sort of like your career, like explain that to us.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was always interested in fashion. So I majored in business marketing. I minored in textiles and clothing. I moved to New York, so excited to dive into the fashion world. Again, I worked at this super cool showroom. It was archival, rental A to Z, Alberta Ferretti, Balenciaga, Christian Dior, Zach Posen. We did red carpet, we did film, we did editorial. At that time, it was Devil's Wears, Prada, Sex and the City, all these really cool projects. And I just found myself falling flat on what I thought fashion was and the creative outlets that I would have in it. And just really discovering that I think I was a more creative person than I thought, and I really needed that. In the fashion world, although it's exciting, it's kind of exactly what those films are. You're in a closet, people are screaming, hangers are flying, and I just wasn't getting enough of myself out of it. So when I moved to LA, I made that pivot into events. I felt like that was kind of under the umbrella of what I knew that I loved, which was, entertainment, arts, media, marketing, events, all of those things. And you just, to your point of these like industry greats, like opening Soho House when it first opened, and there wasn't really anything else out there that was that massive and that interesting and that cool. And we did 1,200 events a year. I just kind of looked up, and 5 years later, I was in events, and that was kind of my career. To the point of these passion projects, I think that a lot of people, as far as in wellness, is kind of from pain to purpose. Like something goes like drastically wrong in their body, and so then they start uncovering the why, and sometimes it's a little too late. I had a little bit of a similar happening. I think it's really common with women now. I was having this thyroid issue. It was, knock on wood, I've never even had like the flu. I can't remember the last time I've gone to the doctor for any reason other than a general checkup. And to be quite honest, I was in the best shape of my life, and so skeptical of my body and stature and what I was consuming that I got my blood drawn. So like I must have the most overactive like metabolism there is. And sure enough, I did. I was like full-blown in Graves' disease. I'd never really understood what that was. It's a super hyperthyroid versus like a hypo, where it's like, you're lethargic and it's running slow, but mine was running super high, which I think, is kind of a girl's dream, to be able to consume and do what they want and still have this great body. But it really piqued my interest of like, why is this overactive? Why is this happening? What's happening in my body? I went to a specialist. I went to an endocrinologist. And, we took my blood, talked it through, had this 2-year plan on medication to gradually get my thyroid back to some homeostasis. All of the fears involved of this, we might have to go to plan B, you might have a thyroid issue where you have to get it taken out. All of, those fears come up. She had noted that I would probably gain 20 pounds over this course, and it would recorrect like my weight and my blood and all of that. Which was fine for me. I mean, that was the beginning of this kind of journey into what's now turned into a passion. But at the time, it was very new to me, and I was, along the whole course, really interested in the health and not the weight, which I think can be miscorrelated a lot when people think of what is healthy and the appearance of it versus the actual cellular response of your body. So I went on these pills, and 60 days in, I had gained 20 pounds. I was feeling so lethargic. I couldn't get out of bed. My hair, skin, and nails were like dull and dying, and I just felt like something was wrong. And this was my first aha moment into maybe the like experts are wrong, and like where does my responsibility come in to understand my body? And then the rabbit hole of all of the things that follow, that still today I find myself in my free time getting excited about learning. That's the short answer.
No, you know what? That's always the story though, is that you have an issue with your health. And then that is what gets people typically excited into this health and wellness space. And then also taking a microscope at what you put into your body. So keep going. I'm so into this. What did you find? What was the alternative route for you? And what did you learn that would help as naturally, as opposed to taking this medicine?
Yeah. I think kind of even going back to your question of growing up and me explaining that my family's kind of super assertive and like we're doers. I didn't question it and didn't get these second opinions. I kind of just dove in placebo and said, I'm going to placebo these pills. I'm no longer taking them because I don't feel good. And that's enough data for me. What other rocks can I turn over to start to see what will work? Is that like, am I vitamin deficient? Can I run my blood? Is there a genetic response? And doing the homework on my own, knowing that just knowing the basic idea of like your cellular turnover is like 90 days, roughly speaking. So it's going to take time. Kind of like when you start birth control or whatever, they'll say, give it 30 days, or you try a new skincare line, they're like, give it 30 days. Like you need some time for your body to adjust and adapt. And so I kind of, rather than doing this huge, pivot, which I think is overwhelming when people think of all of the things they need to change in their diet and their lifestyle to be healthy, you can slowly start incorporating things. And that way, I think I found a better barometer of like what works and what doesn't. For myself, I really was looking just a quick snapshot of like, what am I eating and how am I sweating and how am I doing basic wellness. You know me, so I took a way deeper dive than that on everything, right? So like, what am I sleeping on? That's 30% of my life I sit there. So 30%, is that worth looking at? What touches my skin? That's my, our skin absorbs 60% of what goes in it. So what am I putting on it? Like, that's important. It's, it's our biggest organ. I think we hear like your skin's your biggest organ, and we just we hear it, we know it, but we're not, we pay so much more attention to the kale salad we eat because that affects our waistline than what we put on our skin. So I was looking at everything. And I was also doing these deep dives into biohacking. So water fasting was something that I started getting really curious about and looking into. I'd drawn my thyroid blood and my antibodies before a 5-day water fast, and then after a 5-day water fast. And that was what ultimately cured my thyroid of Graves' disease. That was the first time that I was kind of a bit shocked to say, okay, like, I don't know if the vitamin D works. I don't know, if this new like kale serum for my skin works, but I do know that resetting my body and giving it that time, your digestion takes roughly, 50% give or take of your energy in a day. And we never give our digestion a break outside of when we're sleeping. So to really, give your digestion and your system, which is where 70% of your, your immunity lies, that well-needed break to then go into autophagy, which is what, that keto diet is. Those trends are, you want to go into autophagy, you want to go into fat burning, you want to go into where your cells basically recycle themselves and eat themselves, and in that turn over new cells, which is what stem cell therapy is, and it's free if you take the time to do it. So that got me more than curious, really excited and really passionate, because again, I had this data for myself, literally blood work, medical data on my own body, knowing that it works for me. So it's something that I supplement in every 6 months. I do a 5-day water fast. I have my own little tribe that does it with me. And I try to do a 1-day fast for like maintenance twice a month, like the 1st and the 15th. So
wait, so if you're not drinking water, what are you drinking?
You're drinking nothing. I mean, you're drinking water, but you're not eating anything. So the idea is not to, when you're on a juice cleanse, for instance, or you're dieting, or your body is used to consuming like 2,000 calories, 2,000 calories, 2,000 calories. When you shrink it down to 500, it's going, where's the quickest source of fuel? It's trying to grab muscle. It's taking from somewhere. Whereas when you drink just water, no supplements, nothing to trigger at your body, your innate intelligence, you have multiple hormones that go, got it, shut your body down. And then they go after, your bad cells, your poor cells, all of those things, and eat your fat and eat your bad cells versus eat your muscle. And they replace it with new cells. So it is not easy, but it is so good for you. You know, mind, body, and soul. There's so much clarity that you have during that fasting time. I think there's a reason why it's like in, you know, so many different like Aboriginal people, and it's biblical, and there's, you know, it's this ancient ritual of fasting. And there's a lot behind that. So that's definitely a tool in the toolbox of wellness that I think is worth looking into.
Okay, good. I was thinking the opposite. I was like, you don't have water for 5 days. I'm obviously
Oh no, I mean, some people do drive fast, which is insane. This last one I did, I found myself not that thirsty, and I had to force myself. It's kind of, I was wondering how, I was like, oh my God, I've had nothing today. It's 5 o'clock, which is kind of shocking, but it was probably my best fast in the sense I felt the best I'd ever felt before and after. So your body doesn't need much to heal. It just needs to do its own job. You need to like back out of the way and let it do its job.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I definitely have learned that over the past several months myself. So, okay. So Melissa, you talk about like all these different avenues. I know you and I have had discussions where you open my eyes. You're like, you have all these like dead skin cells on your pillows, and you get the air purifiers, and you know, all you do all the things. So, and like you said, like, we don't really think about our skin. Like everyone thinks about what you put in your mouth because that affects your weight. It's a vanity thing. But what about all the other things around us? So before we dive into Beauty Counter, I want to ask you, for people listening, if this is their first time hearing this, outside of the food we eat, what do you think are the main things that people should look out for or start to become a little bit more aware of? Like, what are the easy things that people can replace? Yeah.
I think really understanding the why, you know, like if you look at the climate we're in our like society right now with politics, all of these things, we kind of fall short if we're just leaning left or right. And we need to understand like systemically there's issues, right? So like, what are the root causes? I think it's super important to start understanding like, what am I? You know, like ask yourself questions. Like we are 10 times more bacteria and bugs than we are human cells. Like start there. Like what am I and why? And so you can start to understand the reason why when someone says X, Y, Z is good, you can apply it to this knowledge versus just trusting, you know, the left or the right or the forward or the backwards thinking. And I think that we're just scratching the surface on understanding the microbiome. And these that's, you know, a term that people now understand. Like there's bugs in my gut, and there's good bugs and there's bad bugs. And, you know, there's prebiotics and there's probiotics. And I think we kind of have that down in the sense where we understand the terminology. But I think few people understand that, you know, your skin has its own microbiome, and your mouth has its own microbiome, and your brain and your heart, and they communicate the same way that like trees and, you know, foliage share, you know, water from their roots and those type of things. It's one big ecosystem. So I think understanding again that you have your microbiome. For me, you know, these things fascinate me. So I look into like the idea of washing away, you know, you don't want to take antibiotics every single day and wipe out your microbiome, right? You also don't want to do that to your mouth every day. So like, what toothpaste are you using every single day? What soap are you using every single day to wipe off your own defense system, the good bugs on your skin? So like, you know, my philosophy is wash your bits and your pits, and that's really it. I mean, I do the deep shave and I love baths and all of that, but I don't go in and lather and like completely strip my entire body of its like immunity. My toothpaste is a prebiotic, so it feeds the good bugs, and like my mouth has never felt better or healthier, rather than strip it down. Even, you know, there's greenwashing and such things out there, but the idea that you can just go to Whole Foods and pick up any toothpaste because you think you can trust it's good, it's just knowing your ingredients a little bit better. I think we're learning we have to be a little bit more responsible about the back of the box and the back of our products, and just take some responsibility if we're putting it in our mouth or on our body. But yeah, just I think to start is to just understand what I am, you know, like worth plus water. Like, does the water I have matter? What is purified water? So if you're purifying everything out of the water, which is an energetic source, it's, you know, it's electricity, and we're electrical beings. Like, we're taking all of the electricity out. Does water still have a purpose? If we're not putting the minerals back in, are they going to leach out from our cells because it's magnetic to, you know, water and minerals are magnetic together, and that's where they're needed in your cells. So if you're taking purified water, it's going to pull the minerals from your cells rather than put them in there. So just those like basic questions I think are important to just start to do deep dives if that interests you. And if you're looking for a quick fix, I always ask like females in particular, what tampons do you use? It's the most absorbent area of our body, of the human body. It obviously is a region that life is created. And yet we have products that have bleach and fragrance in them, and we're soaking them up for hours, 25%, give or take, of our entire lives, or a chunk of them. And I think that, understanding fragrance, and just if you see that on any packaging, it's not good for you. It's an endocrine disruptor, which is your hormones, which kind of run everything. And it's an obesogenic, which means that alters your cells in such a way that can store fat cells. So like fragrance can make you fat. And I think sometimes when women hear that, they're like, I'll change. It might not be enough to know that messes with your cellular wellness of your body. But if you know that it just disrupts your waistline, which a tampon can do. So I'd say,
wow.
Look at your tampon, look at your toothpaste, look at your water.
That is really eye-opening, even for me. I forgot everything. So your message is look at the ingredients and everything. It is so important to make sure the things that we're putting in our body or on our body and around us have the right ingredients in it. That's something I do not think about myself very often. So thank you. That's such a helpful reminder.
Yeah. And furthermore, I think to piggyback off that a little, I think we often, again, we're starting to lean in to be like, okay, we thought food was the only thing, but now we understand there's skin food, right? Because our skin's absorbent. But I think beyond that, we understand plastics now are bad, and we hear like BPA free, and maybe that's like greenwashing, or they may never have had BPA, but they're using it as a sales and marketing pitch, or maybe they are adding a more harmful, plastic, but we only are versed on BPA because we're not doing our own homework. So it's really easy to sell to us. But I think, when you start the deep dives that I do, where I know can seem overwhelming, where I'm like, I only cook with, glass or stainless steel, and I use this water and these purifiers and these things that you're kind of referring to, is because I feel like when you make your shifts there, if I'm going to buy a spatula and I can go and buy a plastic spatula that's going to likely leach off, and when there's heat involved, it's going to leach off those microplastics, which are going to go in me, or I can buy a stainless steel spatula. It's like a no-brainer which one I'm going to grab. And making those changes over time, the little eyedropper of toxins that's not entering my body and filling my, bucket of toxins, which eventually will overflow, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever age that becomes. Those choices, I feel like, give me more license to make the other cheats in my life, to have the chocolate chip cookie and not feel bad about it. You don't get the benefit from your plastic spatula, where you do get that benefit of like, ooh, I feel like cheesy pizza and I'm going to go for it. So that's where I find my balance. I really control my environment where I can on products, on the things I sleep on, the things I eat off of, all of those items, so that I have more freedom in the places that I want to have more freedom.
I'm going to go home and throw away all my plastic spatulas now.
I'll just come over. We'll have a party.
Okay, good.
Melly condo you.
Please. Everyone, and anyone listening who wants that as well, you let us know. Melissa is your girl. Okay, Melissa, let's segue into Beauty Counter. Talk to us about, you recently became a consultant for Beauty Counter. You also have an exciting collaboration for this month. So talk to us, what is Beauty Counter? Why did you decide to partner with them?
At first, to be honest, I thought Beauty Counter comes off as a pyramid scheme, right? So it is that company that has sales reps go out and sell their product and teams below them, and you get a portion of sales. It was not something I was interested in until I did a deeper dive on the brand. As you know, I like to do deep dives. And really, understanding that they're advocating for laws and lobbying new laws in the beauty industry. Like, their mission is to get clean beauty in the hands of everyone across the globe. So it's really a shift in thinking. It's not enough. They're like, it's not enough to be another beauty brand. It needs to be a beauty movement, and we need to start talking about and have these conversations and having a safe space to buy beauty products where you don't have to go and look on the back of everything. That they ban 180 ingredients, whereas the United States respectively bans 30. There hasn't been a law in the United States since 1930 something in, any major law passed in what brands have to disclose on their ingredients list. And so these are the changes that they're making across the board, global shifts. And again, I just, because it's one of those things I find that we look for convenience. We go to Sephora, we go to wherever, we use what we've used forever. It's like trying on bra or jeans. This is like the last thing you want to do is go test out foundation. Like, I get it. But I think if you have a brand where you can go to, it's super easy. You don't have to do the homework. You have a 60-day return policy, and you know that they're fighting for the betterment of the beauty industry and so your health. It's a company I really wanted to get behind and start championing as well, to get that easy shift. And from there, people can start to get interested and find even other brands that are maybe even more safe or better. But it just kind of gets one foot in, and I think that's super important mission that we need to start having. There's a rise in autoimmunity, there's a rise in autism, there's a rise in all of these diseases that we're seeing, and we're not correlating, in infertility and all these things, we're not correlating all of these studies that are showing hormonal imbalance does that, and XYZ puts you in hormonal imbalance. So that's super important.
Amazing. What kind of products do you recommend that people start with if they wanted to test it out? What do you think is the most important thing there? Would you probably say foundation, because that's like the biggest sort of thing that you put on your
literally
face?
The foundation.
Yeah.
You know what? There's so many. Like, I'm kind of a minimalist when it comes, as I have this bright lip, when it comes to makeup. But I think there's shampoo, there's conditioner, there's baby products. They
cool.
have. I feel like they've leveled up even on the sun care game, where they don't use certain minerals or zinc, and there's a whole slew of reasons why, which we can save for another chat. But every product that you use, I think they're all important because they're all touching your skin. So it's really like, what do you use the most? Are you someone who, everyone has that, I never, whatever it's in your bag. Like, I never leave the house without mascara and lip gloss or concealer, and whatever your 2 items are, look to shift that. If those are your go-tos and things that you can't live without, start to look into better options that are going to help you thrive. I think, again, to the point of like my spatula thing, especially with the difference on that, one thing can hurt you and one thing can't. When it comes to beauty, one thing can hurt you and one thing can benefit you. So not only is it not hurting you, I mean, you're actually adding in things that do help you stay useful longer, and not the quick fix or the Band-Aids that, our society can lean into quite often. Pharmaceuticals, all of these things. We look at symptoms. I think in the beauty world, you can start looking at root cause as well. So like what changes cellular turnover that's coming from like the natural world and not coming from synthetics and fragrance and all of those things. So.
Okay, so exciting.
Another one. You put it on every day, and so do the guys, and so do your kids. So look at what you're doing every day. Your soap, your shampoo, your conditioner, your toothpaste, like they're literally entering your body daily, and that's important to shift.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. And then talk to us about this collaboration. Is it this month that we're doing? It's this month, starting when?
Yeah, it's this month, and as long as I want to run it, to be quite honest. I think everyone can agree with me on this, that we're just seeing in this time so many different issues pop up that maybe we were aware of, maybe we weren't aware of all of the reasons why we're in like a grave position, in our society and so many different things. And at a time where work has slowed or stalled, you feel a bit in a pickle. Like, you want to give your time, your money, your effort away, and you don't have the funds to do it. So I felt like it was this perfect opportunity to collide these two worlds for me, where I feel super passionate about the wellness and again, because of the things that we do daily where we can make those shifts, as well as with Give a Damn, and how you give back to Covenant House, which, obviously champions homeless and trafficked youth. And to be able to bring awareness and take those funds and give back was like this aha moment of, oh my goodness, this is a beautiful collab that I can do to give back and also bring awareness at the same time. So for now, I want to keep running until we get a good enough chunk to give back to Give a Damn. I feel like we mirror so much on the idea that, you know, you don't have to be an expert in everything. You don't have to come from like a medical background to understand your own physical body. Like you can get excited and curious about how you run and what you thrive with. And, you know, and to your point, to, you know, give a damn, like care about yourself first. Learn self-love. What does that mean? That can be a million things. You know, you're going to talk to people about yoga and breathing and mindfulness and community. And there's so many things that play into that. That whole arc of what it means to give a damn is this collaboration for me, where I'm like, give a damn about yourself, about what you put in your body, give a damn about your community and the homeless youth around us, and the trafficking that somehow has fallen crazy victim to capitalism, where it's like, as you know, the stats better than I do, but it's an industry that's like leading in revenue. And those words don't seem like they would match. Like trafficking children is the leading business industry in our world. But yeah, as far as crime, but you know, it is. So I just find that we mirror a lot of our skills and our values and our goals, and it seems like a perfect marriage this month. And
so basically, if people purchase beauty counter products from you, let's say for the next month, or we decide however long we want to do it, 100% of the proceeds are going to come back to Give a Damn. And Give a Damn, we are donating that money to an organization that works with survivors of sex trafficking. Because of my work that I do at Covenant House, right? Did I get that right?
You got that right. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I want every dollar driven that way. This is not about, you know, I have all these side projects and things and work I do for myself, but this is genuinely passion projects where I can give back to our community.
This is so exciting, Melissa. I can't thank you enough for that. And this is just why I love you so much. This just shows like you have the most giving spirit. And I think that that's so incredible too. It's like you're in this world where you're around all this wealth and celebrity and status and all these things, and you're beautiful and you're just out there doing all the things, and yet your heart is you're such a perfect example of what I want someone in our Give a Damn community to look like. Is that the reason that you're so able to show up for your job and everything else is like you give so many damns about yourself, and you take care of yourself first, and you give so many damns about your community that like you picked up this thing, which, as I know, anyone who has a side hustle knows, like, it's not no work. It's work that you have to do. Right. And the fact that you also now want to just, like, donate that money back is so incredible. I can guarantee you, I will share with everybody. I have some great organizations that have been doing incredible work, as Melissa's right, during this time especially. Sex trafficking has become, the numbers have really, really increased. It's gotten terrible. It's crazy. My team goes out and just sees so many more girls than we've ever seen before. Maybe that's even for another podcast day. Is all
I know. There's so much work to do, and I think people have it wrong. Is being disgusted is not enough, right? Like there's a reason. Again, when we look at there's systemic issues, like you have to understand the whys this is happening. And in so many cultures, you know, women and children are treated like, you know, you grow up, you know, we're taught this is the color orange, this is the color green. Like in certain societies, they're taught that like a child is a toy, you know? So it's really understanding things more. And I think when I say give a damn, it's like understand the why instead of just getting angry, or get angry enough to understand the why so you can make a difference. When you understand the root cause and the why, you can start to make a difference. But I'm super excited on this collab. Honestly, I would love to see it grow huge. I mean, that would make me so incredibly proud if I had a big donation to give. And, you know, with Beauty Counter, the beauty of that pyramid type scheme, if you will, or not, which I do not think it is. I think it's an incredible company that champions so many things that our government has failed to do. But get a team below me, people who are like, hey, I've got some extra time and I want to donate to this cause, and just really make it like an awesome system where people can start leaning into this wellness world while also giving back. So I'd love to see it grow into that.
That's so cool. I am going to tag you obviously in this post. If anyone's interested in buying these Beauty Counter products to give back to Give a Damn and sex trafficking work right now, and then also maybe if you're interested in being a part of this is something you're passionate about, please reach out to Melissa. I think this is amazing, and it just marries like two worlds that I feel really excited about as well, which is why you and I are such a good team. So I'm really, thank you for doing this. I'm so excited.
So honored to be here. Look at what you're doing. I love you.
Thank you. You know, just we're out here just hustling, trying to make this world a better place. Yeah. That's all we can do.
Honestly, that's the goal of life. So you're doing the right thing. You're on the right track.
Thank you. My home phone is ringing right now. So we're not even going to edit that out, y'all. Okay, so my final questions for you that I like to ask all my guests is, one, what are your routine, like your morning or evening routine? Like, do you have things that your go-to routines?
My morning routine is far better than my evening routine, which ends up in Netflix too often. My morning routine, I wake up at around 7 or 8. I make my bed immediately, otherwise I'll crawl back in and browse for Instagram. So I make my bed, I go downstairs, do a quick brush, quick spritz of my face. I'll do some warm lemon water to kind of get my system flushed out a bit. And then I do a manual lymph drainage from the night before. So like sleep is for detox, is what it is. And you can't really open your detox pathways. You know, all of our systems, like our cardiovascular system works on its own, but our lymph system does not. It's one of those oddballs that must be manual. So it's just a quick lymph opening, and then I dry brush to actually then move that fluid out, and then your pathways take care of the rest. Your detox pathways, your breath, your bathroom breaks, your sweating will actually release it, but it won't release as many toxins if you're not moving them. So I do my lymph system drain, and then I have some tea. I like to do like 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes in vitamin D out in the sun and read. And then I don't work out every day, but movement at least 3 times a week. I'm loving the class right now.
The class by Terry Toomey.
Like,
love
what?
her. Yeah.
Taking everything out. Like, thank you. I'm obsessed. So that's giving me life. And then I open emails around 9 or 10.
I knew you were going to have a good morning routine.
There's some other things in there, but we'll keep it simple. At night, I'm actually I'm forcing myself in September to no TV. It's a scholarly month. It has to be books before bed. But, you know, nighttime, not so much. I might have some tea and get cozy and light a candle, but nighttime's easier. The whole face routine, of course, of washing my face and brushing my teeth, but.
Of course, yeah. That's a solid morning routine though. So, and I'm going to need to know about that lymph node draining situation because that's fascinating.
I'll send you over a play-by-play.
Thank you. So my last question, Melissa, that I love to ask all my guests is, what do you give the most damns about?
I think this is maybe an obnoxious answer, but it's really everything. Like I said, it's looking at the why. I think a lot of people are just retracting information, as we all do. That's what happens. You learn something, and then that's your sense of anything in life. And I think it's just asking your own questions of why. But if it's one thing, it would be leaning into the trafficking of, you know, men and women and, you know, adults and children. It's modern day slavery. We're just in a climate where we understand slavery has not been abolished on the race side, and that's been, you know, hundreds of years. And here we are just now really fully opening our eyes and our hearts to like slavery on, you know, a child, and it's hard for your heart to not bleed for that. So I always end up leaning there the most.
That's a great answer. That was a great interview. You are a wealth of knowledge. I have 100 more questions for you, but we will save it for now. Again, I'm going to tag you in this. Where can people find you? Instagram, like where can people connect with you?
Ooh, I haven't been on Facebook for a while. I'm sure you can find me there though. Instagram, my last name, Ellingson1, pretty easy.
Perfect. Okay, cool. And you'll be tagged in this as well. So if anyone has questions for Melissa, if you want to get involved with Beauty Counter, if you're just like, tell me more about what kind of toothpaste I should be using, or how to drain my lymph
Revitin. You
nodes.
should be using Revitin. You can find it on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And thanks for shifting these around. You guys probably heard she's at Catch right now. She's been running around today to try to get into a good place to do this interview and borrowing laptop. So you're such a trooper, and I really appreciate it.
Back at you. Stay safe up in North Cal.
Thank you. Yes.
Keep an eye on you and pray for that community. Here we go again.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, my love. All right. And as always, you guys, give a damn about your community, give a damn about your neighbor, but most importantly, give a damn about your damn self. Have a good day, my friends.